Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex here with yet another severe weather outlook and discussion. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about our major blizzard that's going to be going on in portions of the Midwest and up into your northern US as well. And then your severe weather risks for both tomorrow and the 23rd. Again, we're going to be watching both of these, especially one for tomorrow for the threat of tornadoes. Before we start with the video, it's been a rough couple of days for the people in portions of the Midwest here, and especially in the Southeast. On night the 14th, there were multiple strong to violent tornadoes that happened. And I saw some of the damage photos, and I just hope you all are doing well out there. Hope everyone is safe. Same thing that happened on the 15th as well. It's been a near historic stretch of severe weather, and I'm thankful that it's coming to a close now, at least for a time being, because that was not fun to track. It's just so gut-wrenching, and like I said, please, I hope everyone is safe and is doing well out there. I really do. My heart goes out to all of you. And now we'll start off with our convective outlook for tomorrow from the Storm Prediction Center. As you can see, these areas are under a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, including Chicago here. Look at that, finally getting severe weather this year. Bloomington as well, and surrounding areas. So we are expecting a bit of a severe weather / tornado event to occur up here tomorrow, and could be a little bit aggressive on the tornado side of things. We're going to look at that here. Here we go. We're just talking about a 2% risk for tornadoes. This will certainly increase, and I think definitely we will be seeing a 5% risk area. Somewhere right within here could be possible, maybe even a little further south than that, but we are noticing some last-minute model uptrends that could cause more tornadic activity. For a wind risk, 15%, hail risk, 15% as well. So you get the idea there. And now for our day 6 risk here. This is going to be for March 23rd. And I just kind of wanted to outline this. We have a nice 15% chance of severe weather, aka slight risk. As of now, I don't expect this to do all too much, but if you live in eastern Texas, northern Louisiana, portions of far western Mississippi and southern Arkansas, I'd highly recommend watching out for severe weather on the 23rd. Though I'm not going to go in depth in this video because, like I said, I just don't know why they issued a massive slight risk first day. There will be tons of storm energy, but not looking too favorable in terms of wind shear. Well, let's take a look at our HRRR model here for tomorrow afternoon, and the timing is right over here in Zulu 12Z, meaning 7 a.m. Central Time, so please keep that in mind. So you could see here 8, 9, 10, 11 a.m., noon, and you could start to see some of your semi-discrete supercells firing up. And I know, hearing that phrase, semi-discrete supercells, you do not want to be hearing that, right? I mean, look at what they went through down here. But this, I assure you, will not be nearly as bad, if even a quarter as bad as what they got the other night. You could see here going through 2 to 3 to 4 p.m. Definitely talking about much more organization with these supercells. You see a couple of these kind of hooking structures here. Could potentially see a conditional strong tornado risk out of any of these here. We'll just have to continue to monitor this, right? Any cell that gets fully discrete, maybe has a cell upcoming right behind it that nudges into the inflow, could be a bit of an issue, or just fully taps to the environment. Look at these supercells here. I am telling you what, could definitely see an overperformance from this event. It would not shock me at all, and just continues on through. Again, strong tornado risk of any of these supercells that fire up along our dry line here. Really got to keep in mind. Going down here into 6 p.m. around the Evansville area, it's a broken line of linear supercell structures here. Again, tornadoes, wind, even some hail is the main threat there. And continuing on through, you can see become a little more broken up, so tornado risk may increase for, say, your Indianapolis area as we get in around 7 to 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. And I know a couple people live there, so hopefully they're able to stay weather aware. And according to this model, severe risk continues throughout the night. I'm not sure if I'm buying it, but definitely could be seeing a bit of a squall line pushing off a QLCS line, pushing on off to your east overnight. And then you got a lot to talk about in the second half of the video. Your NAM 3-kilometer model, we can go through this a whole lot faster. You can see supercells a lot further off to your west and a lot stronger in nature. Look at that there near St. Louis. I'll bring back some nasty flashbacks, I can assure you, but it will not be nearly as bad. And you can see it deteriorates faster. So model disagreement is in the air. Just like pollen will be soon. It's almost spring already. Can't believe it, right? Going in on your southern mode here in your HRRR model, well, we're not seeing nearly as much, right? Maybe some scattered strong storms, maybe some severe thunderstorms in Middle Tennessee, some stuff over here. I highly doubt any of this really does anything. I'll just have to monitor, and they can see potentially a risk for maybe a supercell or two in Kentucky. I guess we'll have to watch that as well, but nothing more than that. And for your ingredients here, well, you could see here with your dew points, I wanted to point out a couple of things real quickly here. You could see your dry line. Yeah, I know, that's right, a dry line. It's not in the plains this time, it's all the way out here in the Midwest that develops here. You see your wide open warm sector out here, and then a cold front, believe it or not, back within here. Okay, so because your cold front isn't right up against your initiating boundary in your dry line, your storms will remain a lot more discrete in nature. So we're noticing, more separation with your cells here. And also, speaking of your dew points, not half bad in your upper 50s here with temperatures in your low to mid 60s. So not a big temperature dew point spread, meaning your tornado risk definitely going to be there, and that just kind of continues on through. Really got to watch that. Storm energy, not half bad as well. We actually have a really consolidated corridor here in your northern mode where we can see between 1,000 and nearly 2,000 joules per kilogram of K. This is more than enough for severe weather. Going into northern Illinois here, central Illinois, and going into Indiana, we really got to watch this. Your absolute surface instability, your 3 cape here, boom, we are talking about a very nice area here. In fact, if I were to outline this a little better for you all, this area, I'd say out within here, has your greatest chance, I'd say, of severe weather, including tornadoes, maybe even an isolated strong tornado within this area. Yes, I'm talking about you guys in Chicago. You really need to watch this risk. Maybe the cooler temperatures on the lake will save you, but we'll have to see, right? Strong winds coming out of the southwest, you get the idea. And look at this, we're talking about some of your red colors in here, lots of 3 capes, so for sure your storms will be sustaining in this area and tornadoes as well. Later in the night, look at that, going into Ohio, so you get these maximums of absolute surface-based instability that could really contribute to your tornado risk. Your surface to 1 kilometer helicity here, basically what you need to know is anything in your greens is suitable for tornadoes. Well, the whole board's covered, right? So supercells of fire, tornado risk will be evident. Anything in your reds is a strong tornado risk, and let me tell you, there's a couple, or I should say a few areas try to get going. You can see some of your red contours here. So it's going to be those supercells, especially in central to northern Illinois. We got to watch into Indiana as well. And look at this here. Bigger overlap here. Got some gray colors. We really got to watch this going later into tomorrow evening where your tornado risk could maximize. And strong tornadoes definitely going to be a possibility through that time. Supercell composites looking quite elevated in your oranges and reds, so very nice environment here for tornadoes that could develop, especially in your northern areas. This is just more generalized severe weather, as you'll see here with your significant tornado parameters here. Yeah, they're more concentrated down here, but you need to take a look at the bigger picture. Significant tornado parameters are not everything. You got to look at other ingredients as well, which again, if I were to draw out a hot zone, likely right going to be in this vicinity here. That is your hot zone for severe weather. Chicago, you are barely in that. That's where I do expect potential for a strong tornado. This pushes on through and then deteriorates overnight. Now, really quickly, I just want to take a look at a sounding that I pulled here going into portions of central Illinois, even eastern Illinois. Again, this is where your significant, strong tornado risk could occur. Let's take a look at this here. Quite a few people from the last video enjoyed this and quite a few people did not, but I, again, promise you, if you just follow along with what I'm drawing, you should be okay. Okay, first we're going to take a look at your temperature dew point spread, which for sure is very favorable here. You got dew points in the upper 50s, temperatures in the low 60s. Your funnel clouds, if any do form, will condense all the way down to the ground very easily. So your tornado risk will be heightened. Then taking a look at your veering with height, you start with south-southeast winds and go up out of the southwest. So very favorable veering here as well. And your helicity here, 296. Yes, you need, again, over 200 helicity to sustain tornadic activity. So we're definitely looking favorable there. Instability or storm energy here, it's decent, over 1,000 with a setup like this. That is fairly favorable, I would say. Do have some dry air we may need to watch out for, but other than that, really good. Then as we take a look at our lapse rates here, upwards of an 8, so your clouds are going to be rising fast, and it will be no time before tornadoes touch down. Very favorable indeed. And then your surface shear, very favorable. And then looking at your hodograph over here, the veering with height, probably a solid A-tier hodograph here. That is going to for sure get the job done. It could promote your strong tornado risk as well. Hopefully that all made sense, and if it didn't, please let me know. And with that being said, let's move on to part 2 of the video covering our major blizzard. I should have added major up here because you're about to see why. Let's look at WSSI here. Let's look at your snow amount kind of risk here. We're talking about a moderate risk here for some heavy snow across portions of eastern Nebraska here going into western Iowa. That is for, I believe, tomorrow. Yeah, it'd be for tomorrow. And then going into Thursday here, you can see we even upgrade to a major risk for some isolated areas. We're talking about potentially a foot of snow. That's right, you heard me. Maybe close to a foot of snow in isolated areas. So really do got to watch out for this here. And moving into your snow load, we're not talking about much here. Your snow's going to be blowing around like crazy. So, yeah, you're not really going to see much of a load. And as we head on through with your blowing snow, here's where your risk is maximized. We are talking about major to potentially an extreme risk for blowing snow across these areas of northern central Kansas, central Nebraska as well. Again, you could have considerably damaging winds roaring through your area, even going into Iowa here while heavy snow is pouring down. Really gotta watch out for this, right? And of course, day 2, for sure. Talk about that blowing snow risk. Your HRRR model here, absolutely pouring snow here, going into tomorrow morning across a very large area of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa here, going into Minnesota. A little bit of a joke there, you always get snow, right? And look at this going into tomorrow afternoon in Iowa, puking snow with 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. It is going to be wild out there. It's going to be a wild weather Wednesday for you all. Going into Wisconsin, same thing, absolutely puking snow across these areas. So heavy snow rates, strong to possibly damaging winds, that is going to be serious. And your winds taper off moving further to your east here. As you can see here, your snow goes into your UP of Michigan as well, and maybe a bit of a re-intensification going to Illinois. Chicago could pick up on a quick inch or two. We'll have to wait and see on that. But look at that crazy snow band moving through. My goodness, it's March 20th and you're still getting snow. When is spring going to arrive? I'm telling you all what. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This even continues into Detroit. Heavy snow, heavy wet snow still coming down there. Some lake effect snow. Golly word, just warm up already, right? I mean, we're done with these cool-offs. I know you are. Now for your wind gust map from your HRRR, holy cow, we're talking, 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts here. Even across central Kansas here, central to eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. getting just raked with so much wind, over 70 miles an hour. Hurricane force gusts are expected, and this just continues through. Very dangerous scenario could unfold. Here's a look at your snowfall, I guess you could say forecast, from your European prediction system here. I believe that's what it stands for. Broad area of 7 to 9 inches of snow. A couple maximums here coming on through, maybe upwards of 10, even 11 to 12 inches on your max up here. Again, we'll just have to wait and see what all happens with this threat. Then, of course, Wisconsin and UP, same song and dance there. I gotta speed up a bit. Your National Weather Service, look at that, upwards of 10 to almost 11 inches of snow in some areas. If you have to go driving anywhere tomorrow, you got to be very careful. And honestly, I'd highly recommend you stay off the roads, okay? Again, 70 mile an hour winds, heavy snow pouring down. That is not a good situation for you all. You need to be super careful out there, I'm telling you. And then look at this, up into your UP here, a little max of 12 to 14 inches. We'll see if that verifies. Snow lovers, even at this point, maybe would still be happy, though I think they'd prefer spring, let's be honest. And then, like I said, just a dusting to an inch across some areas, maybe a couple inches in isolated spots. Wind gusts on your NDFD or National Weather Service, just intense out there. It is going to be ripping upwards, again, 70 miles an hour. Cannot stress that point home. It's going to be like a severe thunderstorm warning with heavy snow blowing. Stay off the roads, please. You're either going to get into an accident from someone else or you're going to cause an accident. Even if you're the best driver in the world, it's just not safe for you all out there tomorrow. With that said, thank you all so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, and share this with friends and family on social media. Also, be sure to leave a comment in the section below if you wish. Kind of letting me know how good I did in this video, and if the sounding did confuse you a little bit. I want to get really analytical with this stuff in detail and maybe teach you all something as well, but I get it. It can be very challenging sometimes if you don't know what you're looking at. That said, have a wonderful night, everyone. You need to stay extremely weather aware, especially if you're in this blizzard up here. It is going to be wild, and then in your severe weather area as well. Have a wonderful night, everyone.